Hello and welcome to a new video. I'm Fuchstanz or Lilith and I'm glad you're here. We had some really pretty sunsets recently, so I wanted to share one that I saw recently on my walk. Pictures don't do it justice, nor do videos, because it was amazingly red and bright, so just imagine it to be way more awesome in person. And today's video will be about turning inspiration into a unique concept of your own. And I'll be using an image of makeup brutalism. You can find her on Instagram and Facebook, and she also has a shop. I really admire her for her concepts and her art. She has a very unique perspective on our world, I feel like, and our society. And I always love seeing her stories on Instagram questioning basic things like why do we wear makeup and how does it affect our society essentially. So when I saw this specific image, I immediately was struck with an inspiration and that I wanted to turn her concept into one of my own. And as you can see, it's this really cool idea of having some safety pins or sewing pins, I'm not sure what they're called, but stuck into your eyebrows, and it just gives such an edgy look, and I really love that concept a lot. So I took inspiration from that, and I just wanted to make an illustration with that topic. So when I started the sketching process, I didn't have the image open just because I didn't want to copy it to a T. I just wanted to use it as inspiration for my own. And so I started with sketching a face and then adding the pins everywhere, and I thought that looks like a punk concept. And if you're familiar with my interests, I really love punk and punk fashion. I've loved it since I was small, and it has only grown, and I really love the edginess and the raw emotions that are behind it. So when I started this illustration, I also knew I wanted it to be a gouache illustration, since I haven't touched those paints since Inktober, I think, and I thought it was just a really good idea to use them for that. So I wanted to just make it an edgy illustration of a woman, and I think it turned out quite alright. I had a few struggles along the way, but the end product is something I really like. I was using some Holbein Acryla gouache and some Turner Acryla gouache. Also, I think some normal one by Holbein, but I'm not sure if I remember that correctly. But those paints are very opaque, and the good thing is that they don't reactivate. Now, it's not always a good thing that colors don't reactivate. It's just something you gotta keep in mind when you're approaching an illustration, because there's certain things you can and can't do with certain medium. So I knew I wanted it to be waterproof, or that it doesn't reactivate, because I wanted to play with some more harsh details and contours. I'm not sure if that really worked out, but I'm still learning. But the good thing about paints not reactivating is definitely that you can layer them and layer them, and even if you mess up, you can always go over it with a different paint. So, and that's something I really appreciate about it, because I always forget to make a color mock-up. So when I'm in the process of painting and I realize, these colors don't go together, I know it isn't an unfixable mistake. I can go over it again and still achieve the same effect I had before. And also the colors are very vibrant, and I just love colorful illustrations, so it's perfect for my personal style, I feel. Also, when I started this illustration and had my inspiration, I also knew that I wanted it to be a colorful illustration. I've been craving colors recently. I'm always mentioning Inktober, but I think really that's the case, because when you're stuck with a certain medium, you just want to embrace others after you're finished. So I really like doing the colorful hair, and I wish you could color your hair so vibrantly and have it stay that way, but it is a lot of upkeep, so at least I can do that in my illustrations. Also, I usually base my illustrations around maybe 4 colors. In this case it was this turquoise green and the pink and the neon yellow. Those were just my focus points, and I tend to stick to those colors and end up doing them in different hues. Now, I also knew it was gonna be more rainbow, especially because of the pins I added, but I still want to have some cohesion in the colors I'm adding. Like, I don't want to just throw on a rainbow, because usually that doesn't really work unless you have the same kind of hue in your colors, but I don't really work that way. Like, if you would do flat colors, I think you can go nuts and add a lot of different colors and it would work out. Also, I recently acquired these neon paints, and can I just say how much fun it is to work with them. I used some neon yellow in the hair and some neon orange on the pins, and watching the footage now, I just really love how much it comes out on video. Unfortunately, whenever you're using some neon colors, they typically don't look very great when you scan them in, so it's better to take a high quality picture if you want to use the illustration for prints or whatever. One thing I'm still trying to figure out is how to add line details when I'm using gouache, because they tend to go dry really quickly, so you can't really get a smooth line. And I especially struggled around the chin area, but I think I managed it in the end. I wish you could get a very fluid line with them, but it's not really the case. And whenever I'm using a brush and ink, for example, to outline pieces, the lines always turn out very thick. But I'll try again to figure out something I'm really comfortable with. So I mentioned earlier that I always forget to do a color mock-up, even though it would be so helpful. But sometimes you just want to go in and just mess around. And I messed around and I made this neon pastel orange background, which I ended up hating. So I got out some gesso and applied it all over the background again, and then added the pink, which I thought was way more suiting for the colors that I was using. because the orange that I've used doesn't really appear anywhere else in the illustration, and with the pink at least it comes in the hair and in the blush, and I thought just it would look more cohesive also because it's quite complementary to the other colors. I've been enjoying adding some sparkles to my illustration again, and I really love using the Sakura jelly roll pens because they go on very smoothly, and I don't know, they just flow really nice for gel pens at least, and the colors are just opaque, they dry really nice, they dry matte, so it's just a really good addition to gouache paintings, I feel like. So you can see me adding some of that. And after that I went in with some Vallejo liquid gold in rich gold. And I haven't used it that often, but it's a really nice paint. I've struggled with using some metallic pen gold, but it never really got as thin as I would like it, and also applying it to bigger areas is also an issue. So when I found that through Moonlight Jewel, I think she uses the silver in a recent video, I think, I ordered this one, and so far I'm really positively surprised by it. It just works like a charm, and the way it dries is really metallic, and it's very nice. And I really enjoy adding these details on the Sakura jelly roll and the gold, and then the pen white with the brush. It's just, I really enjoy doing these final touches and making the illustration just that more special and make it look more alive when we add the catch lights in the eyes and some reflections on the gold as well. I just really enjoyed doing that, and I think it's my favorite part about painting, when you can add all the funny details when you did all the groundwork of painting in, and then you can add just something special. And like I mentioned, I'm really struggling with outlining and trying different techniques for this one. I also use my fountain pens to outline certain parts of the illustration, and I really like how that turned out, but I feel like sometimes the fountain pen just skips on me, or it just looks really clumpy sometimes, so I try to figure that out, although I really like how the lower lashes turned out with the fountain pen. So I really hope you enjoyed the process for this illustration and where I find some inspiration and turn it into my own. I will link Makeup Brutalism in the description down below. If you want, you can leave a like and a comment. Subscribe, I would really appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye!